the Medicine Buddha Sutra, Cosmic Vows Beyond Life and Death. Hey everyone, let's dive straight in. Today, we're taking a deep, insightful look into a fascinating, highly profound piece of ancient literature, an excerpt from the Sutra of the Vows and Merits of the Medicine Master Lapis Lazuli Light Tathagata, along with its broader context. In this breakdown, we'll take an objective look at the compelling claims within this scripture, exploring how the ancients understood life, faith, and cosmic power. Let's get started. Imagine this. What if I told you that simple, absolute faith in a single sacred name could radically alter the trajectory of life and death, or even reshape your destiny? Sounds almost unbelievable, right? Before we unpack the text, hold that thought in your mind, a question rich with mystery yet philosophical weight, as we step into the context of this ancient scripture to see how it constructs such a vision of power. Session 1. The promise of the Medicine Buddha, concrete benefits, and the path to liberation. What's fascinating about this text is that it doesn't start with high-minded, abstract concepts. Instead, it speaks directly to the most practical aspects of human life. According to the Sutra, many ancient practitioners took vows, but due to human limitations, accidentally broke them. They lived in intense fear of falling into states of suffering as a result. Here, the text offered a remarkably compassionate solution, simply focus on reciting the Medicine Buddha's name and offer respectful reverence, and you will receive absolute protection. In that era, this served as an immense spiritual lifeline, a profound source of relief for those who had stumbled. The text then extends this protection directly to a critical, high-stakes moment in human life, childbirth. The sutra states that if a mother in labor endures severe pain, sincerely calling upon this name will not only ease the agony of childbirth, but the newborn will also directly receive 5 distinct blessings: a pleasant, beloved appearance, keen intelligence, peace and stability, freedom from frequent illness, protection from life force depletion. It turns what might otherwise be dense scripture into a remarkably clear blueprint of blessings. Under ancient medical conditions, this offered powerful psychological reassurance. The most intriguing part lies in that final point, protection from life force depletion. While it sounds like an ancient, mystical concept, it resonates surprisingly well in a modern context. It describes a phenomenon many of us recognize: feeling inexplicably depleted, with your energy drained even without obvious physical illness. The text emphasizes that once your vital energy is compromised, it is hard to recover. The sutra promise is that this subtle loss of vitality can also be safeguarded through focused conviction. At this point, you might be asking, how could merely reciting a single name deliver such extraordinary, almost unbelievable real-world benefits? If you find that hard to believe, you're not alone. The text itself confronts this skepticism head-on, leading into the pivotal dialogue between the Buddha and his disciple Ananda. Section 2. The challenge of deep faith, the collision of belief and doubt. In the section, the Buddha directly challenged Ananda, facing such a profound realm. Do you truly believe this? Ananda's response is unequivocal. The text uses striking cosmic imagery. Ananda replies that even if the sun and moon were to fall from the sky, or Mount Sumeru were to shake and collapse, the words of the Buddhas would never contain a single falsehood. It expresses an unshakable, absolute faith. Yet, despite his own conviction, Ananda points out a practical reality: many beings lack deep roots of faith. The text accurately anticipates our innate human skepticism. Facing such extraordinary claims, people naturally hesitate. The scripture grounded this by explaining that this state of realization is simply too vast, far exceeding the boundaries of ordinary understanding. It's like trying to teach calculus to someone who hasn't mastered basic arithmetic. They naturally struggle to grasp or believe it. This neatly illustrates how the text presents two contrasting spiritual paths. For a resolute believer, by upholding the teaching wholeheartedly, without doubt, they avoid harmful paths and secure profound spiritual merit. For doubtful skeptics, lacking deep roots of faith, they harbor doubt or disparagement. The Sutra warns that rejecting such goodwill deprives one of the greatest benefits, leaving them wandering in darkness and suffering. To highlight just how high the threshold of this understanding is, the text makes a striking point. It's not just ordinary people, even solitary realizers, hearers, and most bodhisattvas cannot fully fathom these mysteries. The scripture notes that only one life-bound bodhisattvas, just one step away from Buddhahood, can truly comprehend it. In other words, for ordinary people to accept and believe this, today is entirely made possible through the immense, incomprehensible support of the Buddha. This brings us naturally to our third part. Section 3. The rarity of the human form, a cosmic scale of scarcity. Follow the cascading logic of the text to see how the difficulty increases at every stage. Level 1. In the vast, complex cycle of existence, obtaining a human body is extraordinarily rare. Level 2. As a human, developing genuine reverence in what faced here, a faced faith. Yet, despite his huge jewels, the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha is far more difficult. The ultimate level, the rarest gift of all, is to actually hear and believe in the name of the medicine master, lapis lazuli, light Tathagata. Through this compounding hierarchy of probabilities, the text highlights the sheer preciousness of this force. If simply hearing the name is this rare, how much power lies behind it? Section 4. Boundless Vows and Wisdom. Those familiar with this field might immediately think of the Medicine Buddha's famous 12 Great Vows. However, this text clarifies a common misconception. Those 12 vows were merely a summarized response to a specific question posed by a bodhisattva. In reality, the text emphasizes that the Medicine Buddha possesses far more than just 12 vows. He commands boundless bodhisattva deeds, infinite skillful means, and endless broad vows. Simply put, his methods and determination to help living beings are entirely without limits. To help conceptualize this infinity, the text introduces a vast cosmic measure of time, an eon, a time scale far beyond ordinary imagination. The Buddha remarks in the Sutra that even if he were to spend an entire eon, or even longer, continuing explaining the Medicine Buddha's vows and methods, time itself would run out long before the vows could ever be fully described. This perspective completely shatters standard human concepts of time and finite power. We've unpacked a truly profound piece of ancient literature today, watching it trace a path from resolving everyday human suffering to elevating into cosmic dimensions of faith and vow power. To wrap up today's exploration, I'll leave you with a thought to consider. If even an entire eon isn't enough for a Buddha to fully explain such endless vows you possessed, how will you make use of the remarkably rare human life you possess today to further explore these profound Eastern philosophies? Thanks for joining me on this thought-provoking journey. Until next time.